What's going on, everyone? We're back again with another video. Today's video, we got a breaking story talking about the Rays. Obviously, we know Hurricane Milton came to the U.S., right? Came right through Tampa, destroyed a lot, and the Trop was kind of one of them. So Mark Tomlin comes out here. He's a Rays Times guy. He's been always reporting about the Rays team, everything about him. So it's a really trustworthy source, and he works for the Tampa Bay Times as well. So he says, where will the Rays play in 2025? Many questions. Really good article we're about to dive into, but this was the main tweet I think a lot of people saw is Fox Sports MLB put out this tweet. The Tropicana field will not be ready on opening day on March 20th due to the hurricane. So where the Rays are going to play is TBD right now. And there's a lot of interesting aspects about this. We can obviously look at the damage. I mean, just absolutely insane, the damage on this. And there's just a lot of hypotheticals right now, a lot of unknowns that we're going to talk about. Let's get right into this article though. Where will the Rays play for 2025 after the damage? I mean, just absolutely ripped through that roof, unfortunately. You can kind of see some of the damage right here. Even the home of the Rays thing is a little bit tipped over. But here's the main thing in this article. Where will the Rays play in 2025? There are so many unknowns about this that we're going to cover. So we're 162 days away from opening day, which is honestly insane to think about considering we're still in the postseason. And the Rays look right now so many different locations. He goes on to say there's 50 locations that this team could play at, which is honestly insane because that is way more than I thought, to be honest. So then he talks about the idea of playing at a minor league stadium or a spring training facility is definitely what I thought, just because like that's the only area that's closer. If we actually take a look, we can pull up MLB's minor league ballparks guide. They could play in the Tampa Tarpons Stadium where the New York Yankees are for their single A team. There's also the Clearwater team for the Phillies, and then this team right here, if I can click on it, is the Blue Jays single A team. So these are the closest ones. If you go a little bit south, we got the Pirates single A team, and then in Lakeland over here is the Tigers single A team. So these are the minor league ballparks they have that are right near St. Petersburg. But I think the main thing they were talking about is the roof. With the weather delays in Florida always raining all the time, it would kind of be important to have that. And they kind of mentioned this, like, they wouldn't be Rays branding obviously because the minor league teams would still have to play there, so there would be a ton of scheduling conflicts and everything like that. So that wouldn't be ideal either. I don't think the Rays want to have the Yankees branding when they play. So I don't think they're going to be at these minor league ballparks. The scheduling will be also horrible. The housing for players and staff would also be needed wherever they go. So this just becomes so many questions that we have to ask. So obviously the spring training facility they play at is Charlotte Sports Park. It only holds around like almost 7,000 people. So we definitely need upgrades probably. I mean, hey, at least they would sell out for one. So that would be a positive. And I think the main thing is, would they play in Miami? Because it's the closest stadium that they could play at. It's still far away, but they have 49 conflicting home dates, which they would have to adjust. So that would be really weird. And I really don't think it would work after reading the article, but it would make the most sense. And they'd have to manually change the schedule or add double headers like he says. And then it's like, where do they go if they can't go to Miami or a minor league park around there? The closest thing, I guess, would be their AAA stadium in Durham, North Carolina, which is right near Raleigh, which is very hot for the expansion spot. As we've talked about before, we're seeing this with the A's moving to Sacramento. We know Sacramento wants to get a team, so if they could sell out with the A's, maybe they could be on that expansion list down the road and everything like that. So maybe that could be a thing. He does mention Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Now, I know a lot of people would love to see us. They have played games there before, but I really don't think it's going to happen. There's a lot of problems in Olympic Stadium already, and it's not being used, and the maintenance of that stadium, there are a lot of outside factors that I just don't think would work. But they do say the largest stadium in the U.S. with the minor league team, Charles Schwab's Field in Omaha, which is used for the College World Series. Now, I would love to have the team here. I've been saying this for a while. Omaha is a perfect baseball city. I would love to have a team here. I don't think they're actually going to put an expansion team there. The Rays being here is definitely interesting because 24,000 is actually really good, which is, I think that's what their stadium is now without the upper deck. I think that's what it is around there. So it would be really interesting. I like that idea a lot. I like Omaha, but once again, with all the scheduling and the players and staff and all the housing situation, we'll kind of wait and see. And then he goes on talking about how expensive is the damage, and they basically kind of run through this and kind of who's going to pay for it. And it's just sad to see. I mean, here's the damage. I mean, look at that. It's actually insane what happened with this stadium. He did hypothetically bring this up. Could they play with no roof? There's actually no way, because the lights are in the roof and it's just not possible because it was never built to be open in the first place. He talks about the staff a little bit. Does this affect the new stadium timeline? I think yes. He doesn't really go on to say like his prediction, but I think it does, because you're going to have to figure this out now, and you're probably going to have to put money into this situation now, and then this is going to take away your money for the 2028 stadium. So I would say yes, it is going to impact their stadium a little bit. We'll kind of wait and see on what's going to happen with this team. But then he talks about, what happened with the Metrodome when they had that big blizzard and the Vikings had to play the home game in Detroit. Didn't really affect the Twins because Target Field was being built, which is pretty much what he talks about, but it did affect Minnesota a decent amount. He said the $23 million was covered by insurance, so we'll see. I just don't think with the Hurricanes, it's going to happen. just because we've seen, you know, Hurricane Milton come, we've seen Hurricane Helene come, right? And all the crazy stories we're seeing out of all these states. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what happens. But that is pretty much the end of the article, just kind of comparing it to the NFL a little bit and some other situations that have happened like this. But yeah, there's a lot of questions we have to answer for the Rays. The league is obviously gonna help them with this. I mean, this is a main league problem right now that they're gonna have to figure out. I know, you know, the postseason's going on, but this is gonna be pretty big news over the offseason, like we said with Sacramento. So we got people working on that. We're gonna need people working on this. So now we took it to look at the minor league ballparks already and what kind of can happen. They could really go, you know, we could go all the way down to Miami. They got some single A facilities over here. Even Jacksonville, I've actually been to Jacksonville. It's a really nice facility that maybe could host the team, but is Durham right here, which is the Durham Bulls that they, you know, currently play at, which is close to Raleigh, which is an expansion site. Nashville has been brought up a ton of times. That's been rumored to go for multiple teams with, you know, the White Sox thinking about it. I know the Rays thought about it for a little bit. I know they want to play an Olympic Stadium in Montreal, which would be interesting. Maybe they go to Omaha right here, which would definitely be exciting. But if they want to stay in Florida in the East Coast, man, the worst thing to do is play your spring training facility, but it's probably going to have to be done just because you're going to stay in this area and the scheduling won't be as hard. And I think that's going to be what they're going to end up doing. It's just a really unfortunate situation. I mean, there's nothing, you know, you could do. It's a hurricane, right? There's nothing you could do. They're going to have to figure some things out. I personally think the best thing for the league to do is put them in the spring training facility for the next 3 seasons. I know it's going to suck for the organization. It's going to suck for the team, but I think it's their only option at this point because at least they stick it out those 3 hard years, kind of like Oakland's doing. At least they get that new stadium in 2028 and then they have, you know, all that stadium and they'll be good there. I think that would be my personal plan for them to do this because I think that's what's going to happen. This was kind of my tweet on the take. I kind of said this. I think we've seen the last games of the Tropicana field. I think that's true. I would really be surprised if they built this stadium just because I know they don't want to spend money on it and they already don't want to play there. I'd be really surprised if they ended up playing there because I just don't think it's going to happen. I mentioned Orlando or Nashville because these teams want the expansion. I didn't even mention Raleigh. Raleigh's another one that wants the expansion. You know what I'm saying? But they don't have stadiums built except for the minor league ballpark in Nashville. But they could try to pull the team to increase the odds for the expansion, and it could raise these cities' odds because after the Rays get their stadium in 28, after Oakland gets their stadium in Las Vegas in 2028, Commissioner Rob Manfred said he's open to the expansion idea. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on that. He's mentioned expansion before, so that would be interesting if they did it then. We already have the couple groups with the Nashville project, with the Salt Lake City project. The A's are playing in Sacramento for the next couple seasons. I think Sacramento does want an expansion team in the future, so they're going to have to figure that out. So if they sell out well, maybe they can be in that pool for an expansion team, which I think if I'm one of these, you know, groups, maybe I try to do. So, you know, it plays back into the expansion rules, you know, with Nashville being kind of the #1 favorite right now. The Salt Lake City option could be better because they got the Arizona Coyotes in the National Hockey League in the NHL. Now they're playing in Utah in Salt Lake City at the Delta Center. And I think the Salt Lake group is not Ryan, who runs the Jazz and the hockey team. So it could be a new group. So that could increase Salt Lake's odds as well. Raleigh's also another one I mentioned. This is where their AAA team plays. That could increase their odds. But there's just so many factors in this stadium, and it's going to take a while for them to figure out. But I kind of just want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think is the best plan when you look at the structure of everything, when you try to schedule everything? I said the spring training facility is probably their best bet if they don't want to repair Tropicana Field. If they do actually repair it, I'd be really surprised, but we'll kind of wait and see what happens on that. Just because the lease is up, I think in 2028 or 27. I'm not totally sure. Kind of forgot, but that's why I'd be surprised if they ended up repairing it. But what do you guys think is going to happen with the Rays? A very interesting talk. I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.